How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We're going through some of the big events happening this week that could cause crypto to be quite volatile, and stocks as well. We have a lot of things happening this week, so let's get right into it. Of course, there are links underneath the video in case you want to know exactly when I'm buying and selling. You can check out the Patreon. Now, obviously, crypto in the last 7 days has moved down a decent amount, with Bitcoin going down 7.6%. However, we have looked like we kind of hit this support that was previously resistance. The RSI has come down a lot on the daily, down to about 45 or 46, which is pretty bullish. So if we just touch down here and then start moving back up, obviously a lot of people would take that as a great sign that we could be right back up, and this could be the next move that Bitcoin makes and the whole crypto market makes. Even people that are kind of bearish on the crypto market right now, at least people that kind of know what they're talking about, still are thinking this could be a very bullish pattern here. Now, Bitcoin dominance is doing something very similar here. You can see it touched down on this previous support that we had seen actually, and now it's starting to look like it's leveling off and possibly making another move up. So we'll have to be on the lookout for this week. Of course, though, this is going to be widely influenced by the overall macro economy because we do have a lot of big things happening this week. First of all, we do have a lot of earnings. On Monday, we start with Palantir after close. Obviously, a lot of people are very invested in Palantir and are big Palantir holders. The retail investors that might be watching this video, you guys, you had to pay attention to this because this will be a big quarter for Palantir, seeing if they are capitalizing on everything that's happening in the broader world, all that uncertainty, or if everyone's kind of pulling back, not willing to sign as big a contract because they're worried that maybe their cash flows won't be able to support this kind of investment. Coca-Cola is on Tuesday. Airbnb is on Tuesday. Roblox, Roku, Shopify, Scorpio Tankers, DraftKings. Those are throughout the rest of the week. Not the biggest week for earnings, but still some pretty big names in there. And we're kind of winding down as well the earnings cycle. So hopefully these kind of end the cycle off pretty strong. Of course, there are going to be some that trickle in as time goes on. But the big thing that's happening this week is CPI data coming in on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, we have core CPI coming out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. The median forecast is 0.3%. Previous, it was 0.3. Now, some different people and some different investors and reserve banks are now forecasting inflation to go up. That's a lot of the reason why we actually saw a couple red days at the end of last week, was because a lot of investors were thinking now inflation's a little bit stickier, especially with the revision, because they had to go back and revise the last 12 months data for seasonally adjusted factors, and they moved up the inflation rate by 0.1% for the last 3 months. So a lot of people are thinking maybe it's stickier now, and the market now is pricing in the Fed having to raise even higher. So the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland is now expecting core CPI to come in at 0.46% month on month, and February CPI to be 0.45%. The big question, though, is where's housing at? Because food and gas have fallen down a lot, but housing has a major lag. We don't know exactly when housing will start to fall down, and it is the biggest weighting on the CPI print. But the housing data has been coming in, and it's been lower and lower since May of 2022. The Redfin data prices have shown that. So hopefully that starts hitting the CPI. That could obviously make a huge impact and could continue this narrative that CPI is coming down. Another big thing that could be happening is some more fallout from the SEC's rampage into crypto. SEC Chief Gary Gensler warns crypto firms to comply with the rules after Kraken shutters U.S. staking program. Kraken said they would pay a $30 million fine to settle the SEC charges. The co-founder and CEO of Kraken stated they hope someone will be able to take on the SEC, but it will be brutal, lengthy, and expensive. Now, there's some word that they might target Coinbase next. They had talked about an earn program, but as soon as they went to the SEC to try to get in compliance for it, they basically said, no, you can't do that. That was a while ago. Now there are rumors that the SEC is going to go after Paxos and Circle or USDC as well. The New York State Department of Financial Services is already investigating Paxos, While the scope of the investigation is unclear so far, Paxos Dollar and Binance USD are among the company's stablecoins and could be part of the investigation. So we'll have to see how this all shakes out, but this could be happening pretty soon because the rumors are that they're going after them pretty quickly. And it would make sense, basically go after all these companies very quickly so they don't have time to really be able to form a plan to go about this. Make them make a snap decision whether they want to go into this lengthy court battle. I mean, think about Ripple and how long that's been going on and how much money that's cost, or would they rather just pay a fine? And they're getting them at the bottom of the bear market. I think that's a little bit sketchy, a little bit sleazy to go after these companies, and I think it will force a lot of companies to not want to do work here in the US as much. Even if there are a lot of people that want to invest in crypto, they don't want to have to take on that risk. So we'll have to see how this affects the next bull cycle. I think they need to take a slower approach to this, and they were investigating some of these companies for months and did nothing. It sounded like they were in the back pockets of some of these people, and now they're just going after anyone that has anything that resembles any kind of staking here in the US. There's also news apparently with DCG and Genesis bankruptcy plans. Obviously, they've been paying or trying to pay back a lot of their creditors. Now, their bankruptcy plan upside hinges on an IPO that must happen before February 25. DCG is betting they can backfill billions in liquidity with a born-out-of bankruptcy IPO, while U.S. regulators are in the midst of debanking crypto. I think there would be some people that try to buy into this IPO if they could get their hands on some of the different assets from DCG. For example, I think investors would be willing to buy Grayscale because that is a cash cow, but I don't know how much they'll be able to get done in the next 2 weeks, and if the US regulators will actually allow this to happen. With everything that's happened in crypto, they've been shutting down companies left and right, as we just talked about, and going after a lot of companies. So I'd be surprised if this actually went through, and then we could have some big volatile sell-off of assets. So be on the lookout for that. I am excited for Bitcoin over the long term. I think we'll be looking back in a few years thinking it didn't matter whether we bought it 21, 25, 18. We should have just bought a lot, and we'll be happy with it. With everything that's happening in the world, I think it's quite obvious we need some kind of currency that's not manipulated by the government and not controlled by the government. And we're talking about a few $1,000s here, but we could be making tons of money, and Bitcoin could be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars 5-10 years from now, and probably much more than a few $100,000. Let me know your thoughts, though. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.